welcome to our release webinar, QPR ProcessAnalyzer 2020.4. I'm Yen, your host. Today, during the webinar, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the message box and we go through them after the webinar. And also next week, on Tuesday, 9th of June at 3 p.m., we will have a webinar about purchase to pay with process mining, and later another webinar about order to cash with process mining. I hope that I will see you there. Please register to them on our event page on our website. And here with me today we have Teemu and Olli. Would you introduce yourself?
Okay, hello everybody, it's Teemu Lehto here, eager to get started, and let's hear about Olli, the product owner.
Yes,
Can
hello
you present?
all.
Yeah.
Yep, hello all, Olli Pervuori. So I'm from QPR Product Development. Welcome to the webinar.
Okay. So Jen, should I just start?
Yeah, yes, please.
All right, excellent. Super good to see so many people here in this release webinar, and today we are going to talk about the QPR ProcessAnalyzer 2020.4, and there are three major areas that we will be covering a little bit with the slides and mostly with the demo. And in these areas, there's also the blog in our website that is having already the information related to these. So digital transformation charts, process mining application functionality, or let's say functionality that enables you to build your own process mining applications on top of the core process analyzer product. And then a lot of improvements to the expression language. And as usual, also the sneak peek to the next release 2021. All right, let's get into the feature highlights, and let's start with the digital transformation charts. So here we go. So we have added 9 new charts, predefined charts, that speed up the digital transformation initiatives. So this is the complete list of those preset charts, and I would be happy to jump into the demo. But just before that, let's give us an example, the digital fit rate. So in this chart, the idea is that how many manual events are needed to complete one particular case. So how many events your organization is doing in order to complete on average one case. So the less manual events you have, the better it is. And these charts are all implemented with the QPR ProcessAnalyzer chart functionality, and they are there readily available as presets. So let me jump into the product and show how the ProcessAnalyzer 2020.4 is showing these charts. So let me just a little bit adjust. Okay, so here we are with the process analyzer, with the process discovery, and there is the selection for selecting the process analyzer chart settings. And in these chart settings, you see we have the preset areas. And last release, we were talking about the use case RPA. So we still have the RPA, robotic process automation related charts, together with the kind of the highlight text. And here we have the digital transformation charts. So the first one being the digital fit rate trend. And in this chart, you have the digital fit rate as discussed, showing how many manual events are needed to complete a case on average. And there are actually 2 separate models. Let me see. I have a little bit more prepared model over here. So we see the digital fit rate as a trend over here. So it's showing the total amount of cases here, and then we are showing the digital fit rate which is starting from 1.9 manual activities to the 1.2 manual activities. And as you know, the goodie in all these three sets is that they use a standard functionality and they can be further customized. So here are the configuration for these measures displayed in this chart, and then for the dimension we have the event time as the month. So customizing this is super simple. If you want to see the information on quarterly level, you just go here and it automatically immediately gives you that. So presets are over here: digital fit rate as a trend and the digital fit rate by the attribute. So the attribute is the benchmarking version of the digital fit rate. Here you have, let's see, the digital fit rate with the light blue color is showing that in certain regions, in certain business areas, the digital fit rate is somewhere around 7.3 events per case, and then you see how big the areas are. So this way, and you can compare by any case attribute. You can have this business area as it's here as a default. If you have like material groups, you can take the comparison by the material groups and see the results over here. See the digital fit rates for each of your material groups, vendors, and whatever other case attributes in your model. So that was the digital fit rate. Then we have the automation rate trend, which is also very good, showing the level of the automation in your processes. You just select the attribute for the automation over here. Then the global design conformance. So part of the digital transformation is about getting the reaching the in your business operations to reach those processes that you have designed in your process design. So we have the BPM and any editor where you do the process design, and from here you then compare the as-is situation. And now as a default, this is empty because this is just a standard functionality now, and it cannot know your own processes. But I'll show you that with the right mouse hand, you can automatically create these this BPM and chart. Of course, this is now a complete chart. It has everything in place, but let me remove one of these. So now if we apply this to be our design model, we already see that how many % of the cases are conforming with that particular design model that we create. So it's running the as-is analysis against the design model. And of course, the normal BPMN models look very nice, but this is like an easy way to create a model that is matching all your as-is processes. Okay, let's move on to the next one, process complexity. So part of the digital transformation is to understand how much complexity you have in your processes. And let me take a suitable dimension from here. Let's say we have the, okay, we have the company code over here. So in this chart, we are now seeing how many different process variations there are within this particular company, and then how many cases there are for each variation. So if the area is over here, then most of the cases are different from each other. So there's a lot of variation. And if it's on this area, then there's at least some of the cases are sharing exactly the same event trace. So this gives you the understanding that there's much more variations in Sweden compared to the variations in US. Okay. Then we have a chart for the impact of the rework. So here we have selected some rework event types: goods receipt, reversals, PO item changed. And now we see that if there is this rework happening, then the average case duration is closer to 95 days. It actually says in the tool 93.8 days if there is a rework. On the other hand, if you don't have rework in the case, then it's 68.3 days. So you can build a business case on top of the rework, saying that rework is not just consuming the resources, but it's also making your duration, lead times longer. So you see that effect over here, and the case counts are here. And as well as with all the other presets, all the functionality comes from these measures and dimensions and these settings, which you of course then can go and change to suit your business needs. Repetition is all about some events being repeated in the process. So rework is about avoiding some rework kind of event types, and the repetition is that you are doing something multiple times. And here we can just first analyze how much repetition there is, and then in a similar way we can analyze the effect of the repetition to the duration of the cases. And we see that if there's no repetition at all, which is the case in this bubble, so nothing is repeated, so then you have the average lead time 64 days, and you have 22,000 cases, 64 days. But on the other hand, if you are somewhere here, 6 repeated events, it's already pushing your case duration to 107 days. So you see again a clear correlation between things being repeated and the duration of the cases. And then we also have the analysis for the event types to the duration. So now the duration for the cases, if you only have a very limited amount of event types, like 3 event types, the duration is 34 days. And if you have like 12 event types, the duration is 126 days. So very clear correlation between them. So these presets are the basic gallery for the process mining-based digital transformation support. And we see them here. There's additional text specifying kind of the use case. And then there is in the blog article in our website, you have the full access to the details. So here in the 2020.4 blog, you have the full access with the explanations. Okay, and now since we are in a release webinar, please feel free to type in the questions into the question box, and we are super happy to answer those after this 30-minute prepared session. Okay, let's move forward. Topic number 2, process mining applications. Okay, Process Analyzer has been used now more than 10 years already to make process mining analysis, and quite often the analysis consists of making findings using the standard Process Analyzer user interface, which we have over here, the homepage with the analysis buttons, and then you go to the process discovery, and then in the process discovery you can select the areas and the analysis that you want to do. Okay, and then more advanced usage, when you want to distribute information to the other people, you create the dashboards. So we have had for a long time a wide selection of dashboards available, and that's a typical case how companies are building the dashboards for the business users. What we have added now in this 2020.4 is that we have been gradually adding one by one functionalities to make it super easy to create full applications based on those individual dashboards. And now I'm very happy to show you some of the functionality. There's a lot of that functionality and details. We can't cover it all in this release webinar, but I will show the basic stuff. And the very basic stuff is the navigation links. So navigation links tie the dashboards together so that you can build applications where the user easily can just click the links and move to the next dashboard. And together with that, the user selections and filters. So when the user is selecting something in one dashboard, that same selection should be available in the next dashboard quite often, but not always. So sometimes you want that information to be there, or sometimes you want a particular specific filtering or selections in the other dashboard, for example, in the benchmark situations. So all of this functionality is available and possible, and I'll just quickly show you. There's also wide range of other added functionality that we have added to this release. We have been actually adding all this kind of functionality in the many of the previous releases as well, but there's a lot of helping stuff that makes it easy to create the applications. But let me show you now the application. A lot of talk, and what do we see? So for this release webinar, I created the demo application, so not that much graphics, but real technical content. So I have auditing and compliance views over here, which are now using the navigation links, and I have digital transformation views over here. Then I have some selection areas over here that the user can go on and select. Let's say that we are interested in the business in France, so I can make a selection in this homepage level, and then I can do additional dimensioning and filtering already in the homepage level. But now with this selection, I can go on, for example, to see the auditing and compliance measure invoice before purchase order. So I click this, and what do I get? I get the analysis with the process flow chart, as it's been set in this particular dashboard, and then I see the values of these KPIs. And I have the backward link. I click here. I'm coming back to the model. I can change. Maybe in addition to France, I want to see a couple of other areas as well. And then I want to see how often the purchase requisition is being created. So I go here, and here I can also use specify the benchmark dimensions. Am I benchmarking the personnel over here, or am I benchmarking, for example, the company codes? Okay, so I have a nice application over here, which I can easily distribute to anybody. I can just give the URL, and you log into, you go to the application homepage, and you have all the information that you need. And here are example of the digital transformation process change views. So this release is about digital transformation. So we also have the views that are showing how process has changed over the time. So it's comparing the new events against the old events. So in this example, we see that there is like in the new area, the shopping cart approved and created takes place not that often compared to the other area, other things that are taking place more often after a certain point of time. So this process change was giving that how the process has changed in terms of event types. This is the same for the resources. So we see that in the past, for example, this RPA 001 was a user who was very active in the past, but not that much active in the new period. But the RPA 003 has become much more active in the new period. So you see that that's a change in the process in the resources. So all of these views and dashboards are available here in the application. And of course, there is the more fine-tuned dashboards that can be embedded and shown as part of the actual your application. And this is the navigation menu we see over here. So all of these sub views of this demo application they can be hidden from the navigation menu. So you can have nice single applications over here, and then the users navigate into the individual views from this link. If you want to see the full details, I can show from the workspace, you see that there are these digital transformation views and auditing and compliance views that were also included as dashboards into this demo, but they are not visible in this navigation. So this is the nice way, and all these settings, what is the next, the dashboard linking, and then the selections, they can all be done using the chart properties and the dashboard functionalities. You just go to the editing mode, and here you have the functionality to create the dashboard link, and then you can go and setting the variable selections, like these case attribute filters and event attribute filters. So everything is available here. You just create a new one and position it somewhere. You will have a link, new link in your application. Just specify where do you want to go, what name you want to give to the link, and what is the dashboard that you want to open from this. What is a linking part? Okay, so creating the applications with the ProcessAnalyzer 2020.4 is very nice and very easy. And let me go a little bit through these. So as discussed, you can also give the sorting order for those for the navigation menu. So there are now two ways to set up your applications. If you only have like mostly one user group, you can set up the navigation dashboards just using the navigation menu over here. Or then the other approach is to set up the demo kind of the full application, which then has the links to the other applications. So users don't need to use the navigation menu. And then also just one thing is that there are like several folders over here. So to each of those folders, you have separate access rights. So you can have they have their own dashboard. So you can really support your whole organization, all the use cases and all the divisions. Okay. Then the color palette. That's a super good functionality. So you can specify your own color palette, which then will use those colors as default in all of the charts. It makes it easy to create consistent coloring into your views. The on-screen settings, which are the selections that we can do there, there are more enhancements in that area. Then you also have the data label properties. You can make more easily embed the ProcessAnalyzer charts to the other reporting applications using enhanced web API, and then you have the better tooltips for the settings. This is the sort of the bunch of the functionalities we can add it into this, let me call it a process mining applications there. Okay, and then the third topic to go through is the expression language improvements. So we have a very versatile expression language, and now in this version you have the possibility to use a new statistical calculations, removing kind of obsolete dates, empty strings, repeating values from the chart, and then also filling the gaps in dimensioning. Like if you want to have a chart where you would have specifically how many cases have taken exactly 1 week, 2 weeks, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, then if you don't have any cases with 7 weeks, then there will be a gap, but you can fill the gap with the number 0. And there's aggregation expressions, some management for the new values, and a nice new way to create the donut charts with different measures in those slices. So this is just one example of the expression language improvements. So in this version, we have added these kind of functionalities, and now I would like to give it to Olli for commenting about some of the new functionalities we will be adding into 2020.5.
Yes, great. Let's see what new functionality we are currently working with, and we'll release those in the next release. So, well, let's start with the new process KPI reporting charts that we will have there. Several useful of them, and they are, for example, describing process durations, delays, reworks in the process flow, and then you can compare and benchmark the different KPIs there. So, and they will be there available as ready-made presets that you can use as such, or then you can build your own dashboards that contain a nice set of several process KPIs there. All right, then improvements to the table functionality. So conditional formatting. So tables are something we already have had there showing the KPIs, but now we also add a conditional formatting there, meaning that in practice the table cell background colors they are colored and they will communicate different information. So for example, targets, so you can then right away see how the KPI is performing comparing to the target. And then other way of using the colors is that the color scale functionality, where the color changes smoothly based on the KPI values, and there you can easy with the glance browse through a table of many numbers to see highlights and differences and interesting KPI values there. All right, that's the chart and table improvements. Then we will have a French localized version available. So our plan is to have many different localized versions in the different local markets here, for example in Europe, and we will start with France. So the next release has the entire web user interface is translated into French, and all the functionality are then available in that language. All right, and the last one to mention is data import functionality is improved. So, well, basically you have two ways to get data to ProcessAnalyzer. You can build permanent integrations through the ETL tools there, or then users can manually upload files through the UI. And here we have now improved this user initiated upload, so you can find the import functionality in the UI. And so in the next release, for example, if you have CSV files, usually there are different types of formattings and errors there. So now it will give you understandable error messages that where there are mistakes in the CSV file. So for example, how date formatting needs to be adjusted or such. And then also when importing directly to the data tables, that is also made easier in the next release. All right, but the next release we'll expect it to be out in the end of this month. Yeah, that's all for the next release.
All right. I think we are done with the questions. So let's get back with 2020.5 and with the release blog and the release coming after 6 weeks. And if you have anything, questions, comments, you can always contact us. All right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.